Good day, podcast community. Pete Kane here, Podcast Pete, and I got a special guest. This is crazy how we met, and he's going to tell you a little bit. We're going to have a good conversation because he's been to our live event. He's presented. He's had his son come up at 13. And the biggest fear is speaking in public. He crushed it, and he shared what he wants to do at 13. I wish I had that kind of foresight, wisdom, ambition at 13. It would be crazy. So, Terry, tell our viewers who you are, what you do, and who you serve, and then we'll get into our podcast.
All right. Well, thank you for that introduction. I'm very honored to be here, Pete. I'm a digital transformation specialist. I'm on a mission to help purpose-driven businesses ditch what Pete calls the busy bus and soar on the purpose plane. After 15 years of watching leaders wrestle with tech that's complicated instead of clarity, I started my company with one simple goal, and that's to make technology work for you and not against you. And here's how we do it. Number one, smart systems that take the busy work off of your and focus on what really matters. And number two, we build.
Before you go into that, Terry, before you go into that, I want our community to know a little bit of framing of who you are. So tell me, like, what made I love what you said about business speed, automation, technology. What clicked in your head, and how long ago did you have that focus? Like what happened to make that such a reality, and what your focus is now?
Yeah, well, I've been running a cleaning business for over 15 years. And one of the biggest hurdles, running that business is labor, and getting the right people and getting them to stay and everything like that. So basically, I came to the hump or the hurdle of finding that really good person. And then I found out about these new tools that allow for you to basically have response systems set up. And when I started testing them, it started working for my business to the point that where I didn't have to really worry about, is someone going to show up for work or are they doing it right? And that's really what kind of got me on this whole journey. And then I started looking into how, I've been doing it for a while, about almost 20 years. And I just don't want to risk my physical body, going out there and climbing on top of rooftops and things of that nature. So I started getting more into my passion. I was actually an animator when I was younger, like my younger 20s. I was in the Army and I hurt my hand. I don't know if you can see, but my hand is a little scar right here. But I used to be left-handed. And I look at myself as retiring into doing that again. I used to really be into the digital arts, graphic design and everything like that. So
that's so good. Now, okay, you're running a business. You're realizing that you've got to grow that business, and you got teams to build, and you've got, when somebody makes an initial contact, and I'll give our viewers a perspective of this. I had a coaching client, and he told me about this service. And so it was a Friday night, just ready to go out, meet the grandkids. I went ahead and posted something, and my phone blew up. I mean, probably 60 calls in 50 minutes. I was going, what the heck did I do?
Yeah.
Okay, here's the lesson. I probably had eventually almost 100, but at least 80 that I can count. Not one person followed up after that initial kind of connection, but you. I had 3 podcasts scheduled. No show.
I mean,
it blows my mind that you make that initial intention and you do nothing with it. So what gets, when you are running a business, how important is that follow up and speed and efficiency and the intention that you do to grow that one seed, let's say that somebody says, I'm interested. What would you tell our viewers what you've been able to do?
Well, people don't understand that over 60% of businesses don't answer or don't respond, within 5 minutes. And that's a really important aspect about your business. You have to make sure there's a speed to lead system. And Pete, you've been actually talking with my autoresponders. Like, I woke up this morning and I saw "can't wait to be there." That wasn't for me. That was actually I was asleep. I was in the bed. So those are all autoresponders I've set up to basically allow for people to feel as if they're getting engaged. And then, of course, as a business owner, I'm always on top of my leads and my notifications. So I have everything sent to my phone so that I can respond, when according. So those systems that you've been, responding to actually hasn't been me, so to speak. Those are my responders. So yeah, I mean, they work, and they keep people engaged. I would say that it allows for me to relax. That's the most important thing, because when I used to be manually responding to things, I always worry, oh, did I text them back? Did I send this back? Did I do this? Did I do that? And we're entrepreneurs. We're busy. We're talking to 5 people at once. We got families. So these systems really help me stay in touch with people who are interested in what I do.
I love that. I had a microwave go out, and I usually will reach out to the neighborhood. Who else has had a person help them with this? And so the lead comes in. I call the person, tell them I'm in this neighborhood, leave a good voice message. Crickets. Nothing.
Wow.
Nothing. And then I call another person. I said, hey, look, this guy's a no-show. Who do you know that can do electronics and do this? So this person, my friend Jim Rapps, I've known for years and years, he goes, I've never dealt with this person, but I've heard good things about him. So gave me the lead. I did it, and you're right, it was automated. So all of a sudden, the automation process started, scheduled it. The guy came. He was absolutely incredible, because I like what you said. We can't be thinking, did I respond to this person or not? That's tasks that can be automated. What do you say to those people with AI and automation? How important what would you tell our audience? Like, because I see it all the time. I mean, all the time. What can you share with our viewers? Like, doing that, because you have 4 kids, you're busy, you're running 2 businesses, but you still rush follow up and communication. So share with our viewers, like, give us a little bit of inside scoop from your perspective as we get into the future, what businesses need to do to really grow in this changing world.
Well, first, like he was pointing out, have some kind of system in place where if a phone call comes in, some type of person or machine can capture their information and make them feel as if you're on the ball. Get what they need, and you can respond to them. So what I do is I have text messages go out and ask questions like, how can we help you? What do you need? What is your emergency? And then they respond. And then basically those keywords are funneled through our system, and it allows for us to respond accordingly. So having something that can respond immediately is the first step, whether it's, like I said, automatically picking up the phone, automatically texting everyone back. Those are the 2 main things. And then an email system is also, needed also. You can set these up with Gmail on the basic side, but Gmail, they kind of have you limited on what you can say and what you can't say. So that's why we built these custom systems. But in general, you want to at least have something where the phone is answered, and also if someone calls, you can text them. I mean, because I believe the stats are over 80% of people do business through text, because they're busy also.
Yep. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I absolutely. Now, my son-in-law, we were talking the other day, and he has a mechanical. He's a mechanic and has a business.
mhm.
So I told him about the texting automation, and he said, "Yeah, that's good, but I'm going to lose the personalization." So, what would you say to those people that love to connect and personalize things? What do you do to have that confidence that the automation is you?
Well, basically, what's beautiful about it is it trains off of what you want it to say. So if you don't like the response, it's a simple thumbs up and a thumbs down. A thumbs down will allow for a box to pop up and for you to phrase how you would phrase it. And the system is smart. It remembers your training. So if it does respond in a way that you do not prefer, you do not like, you just hit the thumbs down button and then you just type in what you would have text. So over time, it trains on how you speak and how you respond, and you will see those automatic responses. So I know that when I text, I like to use abbreviations like, talk to you later, TTYL. So I would train my responder to respond like that. And not everyone likes that. Like I have consultants and they like to have professional sounding responders, but like you said, mechanics, service-based people like electricians, if they wanted to sound more like themselves, just hit the thumbs down button and correct, how you want the response. And from there on, it'll keep responding how you need it to respond. So everything is trained before we even launch it, and even while you're using it, you can still, like I said, provide feedback and change and adjust, and it learns, it gets better over time. So it's not perfect. None of this technology is perfect. Because it's funny because they call it artificial intelligence, but it's not really too intelligent. It's kind of funny. But yeah, basically that's how you do it. And like I said, me personally, I'm always on top of my leads. I'm always texting back. I don't really allow for my system to do the texting for me. But if you're not available, it's all that fallback is always good to know.
Good. Yeah, that our we wake up every day, we have 24 hours. And how we use that 24 hours determines what we do with that day. And if we're caught in a busy like mindset, we lose that higher level, because I think as we go deeper into AI, the repetitive tasks are going to get better and better and better for us. And we're going to be able to do higher leverage activities, because for the not for the person that just because my partner's an AI specialist, and if he didn't push me 2.5 years ago to start playing with it, I'd be still wondering what it does. But I created my first course with it. And being dyslexic, words aren't the easiest thing for me. But when I created that course, it happened in with just one prompt, and then I did a couple other prompts. I was blown away. I literally almost fell out of my chair, because it would have taken me 6 months of nagging, getting the words right, figuring all this, and it did it in minutes. And I was like, "What just happened?" So my question to you is, like, as we look forward to how AI is going to change our world, business owners have to do those higher leverage things. So, with you automating and understanding the term business speed, what do you spend your time on as a business owner and a father that you could share with our viewers to give them a little insight into how you prioritize your day?
Oh, well, that's a good question. I haven't ever got asked that before, but yeah, the way I prioritize my day right now, because I'm basically, you know how it is. The first years of doing things is the most busiest. You know, you're still setting things up. So I've been doing this type of business for about 2 years now. So I'm really busy working for my clients. So I haven't really found that balance because, I'm still working with so many people. So after I finish working my cleaning business, I spend a few hours, maybe probably less than that, maybe an hour or so with my kids, and they're very home based or homebodies. So they're mainly like in the living room, probably playing the video game most likely. So I'll probably sit in the living room with them for about 30 minutes to an hour, just engaging with them, watching silly stuff on TV, things of that nature. And then I'm right back talking to one of my clients because basically most of my clients are mid-sized businesses, and they're successful, but they're also exhausted. And then,
Mhm.
some of them lost their sight on their original why. And after working with me, they get those extra hours, but those extra hours right now they fall on me. So it's kind of hard for me to really point out how I'm saving time because they're putting all of their uh, uh, mission statements on myself, and I'm always running analysis and getting back to them with updates and things of that nature. So yesterday I was working on just schema markups and making sure that everyone across the board is getting content. So building creating content is very time consuming, and that's what I'm basically doing right now. So um, my time is taken up right now, but it's not
Mhm.
going to be like this forever. It's still in the beginning phases. So I know that, let's say, by next year, I should have at least 2 or 3 assistants where I can offload, tasks and everything like that. But right now, I'm just busy with content creation for my clients, and it takes a lot of time to do that.
Yeah, I had one of my mentors is Brendan Bouchard, and he talked about the balance question, like, oh, I got to be balanced. And there's times in our life, as he shared, that it's not balanced. It's like you're working, and how he did it is communicate with the people involved and saying like, hey, these next 2 weeks, I got 6 new clients that came on. It's going to require me to really put some focused time into them. But after those 2 weeks, I'll be back like I was before. But business goes in cycles, and if we continue that cycle, we burn out because we have to have that relaxed time with the kids, with the family, doing things that fill our heart, fill our who we are. And I've heard it numerous times that we build up something and that ladder that we're going up on is on the wrong side of the wall or the building. So with that in mind, like I love how you say you'll continue to offload things. What's the biggest challenge that you could share with our viewers as we get into the most craziest change we're going to ever see in our lifetime? How are you preparing yourself?
Well, the biggest challenge right now is, like you were pointing out, lead management. Um, Coming up with ways to always stay in touch with people and keep them under the microscope, so to speak. So I like to send off videos and letting people know that, hey, this is what I'm working on. So that way, when they have time, they can always look at it instead of asking for personal time. Because I used to do that. I used to say, hey, look, every Monday at 8 o'clock, we'll do it like this. But then I found that it's a little better for me to just go ahead, record my screen and send off the video, and then allow for my clients to, watch it on their own time. So that way it frees up, our time, my time, and their time. And then, like you were pointing out, balance. So the way that's the other challenge is, how do you balance three new clients every month? Because that's the really all of the hard work or the heavy lifting is in the beginning, when we onboard someone. And the way I do it is I always have about 2 hours of time each client. So that gives me about 6 hours of work. So say if I have three clients that I just got in, so I know that, well, I'll work on this client for about 2 hours. I always take like a 30-minute or hour break with either myself, my wife, or my kids, and then I go right back to the drawing board, so to speak, with my next client. So I like to use timers. I'm not sure if that's a thing with everyone, but on my phone,
It,
I just I have automatic timers, and
mm-hmm.
I have a 30-minute timer, a 15-minute timer, and a 1 hour timer. And basically, the 30-minute timer allows me to work. I'll set a 15-minute timer for a break, and then the 1 hour timer lets me know an hour has passed. So every time it goes off, I'll just hit the reset button, and I'll know, oh, my 1 hour timer already hit reset on it once. So I've already worked my 2 hours for that client. And I've already taken a break because, like you said, time it just goes by so quickly when you're busy. And these timers for me help me with that.
Wow, I love it. I'm a timer man too. I mean, I have timers all during the day. I do the 50-10.
Oh, okay.
I work extensively for that 50 minutes and I take a 10-minute break to walk around, do some things that kind of resets my brain. I want to ask another question. So, your military experience, how did it prepare you for the person you are today?
Well, I was actually non-combat. I was what they call quartermaster. Um, I specialize mainly in data information. So when I took my ASVAB, I actually got a very low score. I think I got like, I don't even remember. It wasn't that high. I wasn't very proud of it. But basically, I did excel in the section where it's a whole bunch of, like numbers. It's a whole bunch of words and letters, and you have to organize them and figure out, which is which. So I guess that's where they suggested 92 alpha for my MOS. So my job was inventory specialist in the motor pool, and basically, I mean, I guess the military more prepared me for engaging with different individuals. There's different personalities that I never experienced before I joined the Army, and traveling around and being around other people and just getting used to different personalities. That's really what I gained from being in the military.
Mm-hmm.
Because the hardest part, it was just the basic training. And to me, I would do basic training over again if you allowed me to. It was a good experience for me, and it was hard, but at the same time, it was enjoyable for at least for me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, as far as what I would say from the military that I've gotten was just being around different personalities and having to manage myself and how I respond to people. That was my biggest experience.
Oh, that's good. That is, I think I always, when I'm out like with servers, and I used to be a member at, Pine Tree, which is right down the street. And I talked to the college students. I said, one of the best things you can do is learn how to be around people, serve them, because people are all different. Their needs are presented to you right away. You got to adapt, change. You got to learn
They talk different. They really do. Like sometimes I would get offended by someone just to only know that they didn't mean anything by it. That's just how they talk. I have
exactly.
to learn that it's really tricky to figure out, are they serious, or are they, but on that's just Shelly. That's how Shelly talks. I had to get really used to that.
Yeah, there was somebody, I don't remember who told me, is like how people receive information. We can't control that because everybody's life experiences, journey is different. So you can say the same thing to two people. One responds in a very positive way, one gets offended and just gets all kind of their feathers ruffled. But it's the same thing. We said the same thing, but how we received it was different for the two people. What would you say? Like, I know I have a niece and nephew, and one's Army, one's Air Force, and they've moved around a lot. And I was talking to the spouse of my nephew at a wedding recently, and we talked about, how she had a career before they got married, and then he's been, I think, 20 years or right around that. How did your wife handle that change? Did you move around to different bases when you were serving in the military?
No, I didn't have that type of experience. I was stationed up north in Virginia, and basically in the beginning, that's where I did most of my moving. Like in the beginning of my military career, um, after training and everything like that, I was stationed in
Mhm.
Jacksonville for a little bit, and then they finally got everything squared away, and I was up in Virginia for the next like 5 years. Um, and even in my childhood, my mother, she moved a lot. She she just couldn't make up her mind. But as far as like my military career, I was only in before I got injured. I was in there for about 6 years. So um, I didn't really have that whole move around thing. If anything, if I stayed in, we did get deployed a lot. Our unit got deployed to Kuwait, like I want to say like 3 or 4 times within a 3 year time span. We were actually a reserve unit, so we're not allowed to stay overseas for a certain amount of time. I think it was like 6 months, and they have to send us back. And then after we get back, I would say no more than like 45 days, we get deployed again. So that was kind of, if anything, we would get deployed to other countries. Um,
Mhm.
and at the time I was young, I was like 24, 23, 24. So I wasn't in a serious relationship. It wasn't like I had responsibilities or anything like that. So
Mhm.
yeah, I didn't have to deal with that. I mean, some of my battle buddies had that, but we were all still young though. We were all our young 20s and young
Yeah.
relationships. No one had kids yet, unless they were like a sergeant or something. But I didn't really know too many higher ranking people. I was a E4. I knew a couple of sergeants, but anybody who was like above a master sergeant, I didn't really hang out with. I don't really, think because they're like I said, I'm a young kid. Like who's what a
Mhm.
20-year-old doing hanging out with 30, 40-year-olds. So
Yeah. So, what would you say in today's age, being a dad, 4 kids? What's your biggest challenge that you see in raising kids in this environment today?
communication, they talk different. Every generation has their own way of speaking. They have their own perspective in life. I feel that our youth, they have a lot of tools and distractions, and basically um, it's hard for them to stay focused. So just communication, I feel like it's the hardest thing with dealing with the youth nowadays. But at the same time, consistency works. Staying on top of them and just reminding them, what needs to be done. That is definitely needed. So I guess anyone as a parent, if they probably either can understand, empathize what I'm saying, or basically they know that, hey, if you tell a child something one time, you can come back 30 minutes later and they're not on top of it. You just gotta keep the repetition going as far as like speaking with the children.
Ooh, that's good. That was a great lead in to my next um, thing I want to put on the screen is
Okay.
we want to pour into our youth because you're exactly right. Every generation has a uniqueness to how they communicate. And our program that we've launched with our youth is pouring back into our youth and allowing them, because we're getting into some crazy changing times. And if they're not prepared, because my philosophy is you and your wife have laid the foundation, but the community of others that they come in contact is like putting the floors to the skyscraper on them. So we want to make sure that they grow through these changing, adapting times. So we have a free course for them. It's 12 digital sessions on high performance. So they learn their vocal points, their clarity, their energy, their courage, their productivity, and their influence. And then we go into the second part, which is the mastery part of it. They get that for free. They just use the word podcast. It'll waive the $300 fee. Now, once they get halfway through this course, we activate a group for them because live is always better. So we put them into a group with other adults, with other people that'll help them form a community because together they're better. And if they have those relationships early in life and they understand the high performance activities to really adapt to the changing world, they're better prepared to stack those stories up to the skyscraper of who they can be and the potential they have in themselves. But it doesn't happen magically. You have to be intentional about the personal development. So yeah, so if you know of people out there and you're listening to this, share it with them. We're going to put Terry's information. Usually get it ahead of time and so we can put it up on the screen. But Terry, just tell our viewers, how can they get a hold of you to be able to, look at the automation part of their business so they can grow as we get into these changing times of AI and innovation?
Oh, well, I always tell everyone my simple website, singlebizowner.com. That's single, B-I-Z, owner.com. If you go there, it has a free trial. It's 14 days. You just select what kind of plan you're looking for. We like to start everyone with content creation and management. But everybody's on different levels, because like I was saying before, that's what people are really coming to me for a lot, build their content. And, I completely understand. And those plans typically take about 6 months to get, fully built out and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But after that is easier to maintain. So yeah, if they go to singlebizowner.com, they'll see everything they need to basically get in touch and, get started if they want to. But the whole point of the 14 days really is for me to show the system, build the system, and they can feel that, this is what they want to do. And if it's not something they agree with, then, it's no harm, no foul. We just part ways. But yeah, basically that's the best way to do it.
Awesome, man. That's so good. So I'm going to put up on the screen for anybody that's listening that if they want some clarity with our community, we do a strategy session or they can have a podcast. Either one, we're going to get them exposure or we're going to get them clarity, but both of them are real important. So what would be the one thing you would want our viewers to take home from our time on this podcast?
Artificial intelligence is really this is the way that the world is going. There's nothing we can do to stop it. The updates are continuous. I mean, like daily, weekly, there's new things coming out. Staying on top of what they're doing and how businesses are basically automating everything, because if it's kind of like when I'm sounding old when I say this, but when the internet first came out in the 90s, a lot of people didn't like it. It was resistance against it. But here we are, 25 years later, everyone is on the internet. Everyone's doing it. And if your business is not on the internet, then you're behind. So it's the same type of thing. It's hard for people to understand that concept. There's a lot of resistance. But please, guys, don't think of technology as something that's going to just take over, even though it technically is. But we have to go with the flow. There's ebbs and flows of things. And if we don't, one business is going to be more productive than the other, and they're going to shine a little bit brighter than the others, So please stay on top of technology, where it's going, how it can help your business, and don't necessarily. I hate to use the word fight, but don't necessarily fight against it. Just kind of see how the technology can make your business more productive, instead of looking at it as, oh, I don't like, because I post online all the time, and I look at the feedback, and I would say half of the feedback is, oh, this is AI, where I don't like it. A lot of people don't like it, but at the same time, those people who have those sentiments, they're literally going to get left behind. It's just I hate to say it like that, but that's what's going to happen.
No, I tell you, I couldn't have said it any better. Is I do see resistance, and you're right. If you don't move like now, every day is like years.
Yes,
It's
with this, so
moving at fast that you have to have that automation. You have to lean into it. You got to learn it. So thanks so much for being with us and helping our viewers get a better perspective of how to use AI, how to use technology, and focus on those higher level
yeah.
things that grow in their
Start
business.
with the auto responders. Those are the best things, because we can't do everything. We can't be everywhere at once, and people want to feel engaged. And an autoresponder is the simplest automation that anyone can look into and build. And the technology is not rigid anymore. It used to be press one for English. Now it sounds like a human. You can just say what you want, and it'll respond differently depending on how the person says what they say. You see what I'm saying? So there's no concrete response anymore. It sounds human now. So please look into these autoresponders. It sounds human. You have to train it, of course, but it's much better than it was 2 or 3 years ago. I'll tell you that much.
Thank you, Terry. Appreciate you giving our viewers an insight into the future. And, if we grow one business, that grows, and we keep growing businesses, we're in good shape. So you got to automate so you can grow, because you're right. You can't handle all these regular
Phone calls and leads are coming in.
it gets overwhelming unless you have a system and a process for it. Thank you, Terry. Appreciate you being with us. And thanks so much for